When I saw you, I knew you would
Whoa.
uncover the truth. I knew why you were here. I had found the draft of Julia's letter. But I love to play, so. She hadn't wanted your task to be too easy, to protect me, probably, but she couldn't die knowing this mystery would remain unsolved. Did you find out that the Wall of Silence is the name the builders gave, during the construction of the manor, to the wall on which the coat of arms hangs?
No.
And those gifts Julia left before dying were as many false leads, and their true purpose was to highlight how important the parchments were. That's
No.
right. More than a year ago I was working with Muriel on the decryption of those manuscripts I had just found. My wife made the connection between our work and Muriel's disappearance, but she never had any proof. Except that ring she found one day while going through my belongings. One night, we went exploring the secret passage we had found. Muriel died by accident in the room of the Virgin. I quickly took the ring from her, found the treasure and ran away. I didn't think she was still alive, and I didn't say a word because I needed the money. I told everyone the money was coming from a winning bet at the horse races. Leave now, since you're not a policeman. Leave me alone.
Wow. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So.
Yeah.
So. Leo and Muriel were exploring a secret set of passages in the house. She got accidentally impaled on that wooden looking stake thing.
Mm-hmm.
And he ran away.
With the treasure.
Took the treasure, had time to take the treasure. I take it that means that chest that we opened was empty.
Yeah.
Didn't know she was still alive. Thought she was dead. And just left her there.
Yeah, and didn't talk about it ever again.
Never mentioned it again. He needed the money. Said it was from the horse races. Did they own the manor at this point? Surely they did.
Yeah, surely.
It's quite hard to get a gauging on the time involved over this process. Like, was it, like, decades ago? It wasn't that long, because Julia just died. She just sent that letter. So he did all this relatively recently?
He said a year ago, didn't he?
Yeah, he loves to play. And Julia suspected him, so asked us to look at this, but didn't want it to be too easy.
Which is a really lazy way to decide that is how a mystery is going to play out. If
Yeah.
she knows all the answers and knows who the suspect is and knows who the murderer is, the victim is.
Yeah.
But decided not to give us any of that information upon entry.
So just kind of made it all a bit obscure, purposely didn't tell us any details, and then died. That's stupid.
Yeah, that's real stupid.
That's really stupid. That doesn't make any sense at all. Don't get me in the middle of your weird little games. Guys. Did you find out the Wall of Silence is the name? No, we didn't find that out. I guess that must have happened. Could have... I don't know, I feel like... I guess I didn't ask everyone about the Wall of Silence, but...
No, see, I'd be interested in talking to everyone, but I wouldn't be interested in going through everyone's conversation things, them saying we're too curious day after day.
Well, you just have to do it all, then restart, then do it all. So find the right triggers for the things you want to ask, then literally ask everyone.
Yeah.
And then try and make some sort of note of it so that you eventually end up with a complete collection of entries.
Information.
That's not a good system. You know, what are you saving from denying people the ability to do that in one playthrough. Like, it's annoying. And that's the reason why it's less appealing. Like, if you could get through to all of these things by just finding them where they are and then asking them the questions, it wouldn't be that big a deal. Like, I'd find that more interesting, but the barrier of having to sort of reset and restart and then try and keep a manual note of everything is really off-putting. Yes, it's a silly idea. Okay, and the rings. Yeah, so that, I mean, the manuscripts were their work then. And then you aren't a policeman, so you were incapable of dealing with this in any way, shape or form. We can't speak to a real policeman and tell them what we found.
We don't have that ability.
I guess maybe go over there and tidy it up or something. Right. Right, you leave Mortville. In Paris, a message awaits you. My dear Jerome, regarding my telegram, I must tell you the reason for my worries. Okay. A year ago, Muriel, my lady companion, disappeared. The depart may have had something to do with the financial success of the manor, or a silence hard to understand for my son Guy. Not having been able to see the light of day over this affair, I count on you to sort things out. So she knew she was going to die? Oh yeah, so she's just ill at the moment. Right. If my state of health doesn't improve, take the decisions that you feel are appropriate, and the ones that you're capable of achieving within the framework of 8 unbearable people who won't let you do anything. Kind regards, Julia de Frank. She's just being a pain in the ass.
Yeah, it's a bit later. Oh, what's this at the bottom?
Later, Guy will inform you of Leo's suicide after a heavy bet at the races. Oh, okay, so we get a nice little closer where he doesn't get to get away with it. Don't mess up your next adventure. How charming. Thank you. Not goodbye. Don't screw up what you're going to do next. Oh.
No, thank you for playing.
And then
the game closes.
Kicks you straight out.
Right. So, do we want to attempt looking for some clues that aren't?
I'd like to have a very quick little search around and see if we can find... sorry, I'm just going to go through this and the noise. Right. Shh. Yeah, no. Oh my god. It's just a collection of random nonsense to get to this point. Might even save here. Right. Yeah, do you think it's worth having a look around?
Yes. I'd like to be... I'm interested in some of that stuff. Like, I want to know where all this stuff is hidden.
He says a tentative yes, though. Sure. Okay, let's try and... What's the best way to be methodical about this? I'm going to go to the landing. And I'm going... It'd be nice if you could see what you could talk to people about before you talk to them. I guess you could leave without talking to them. I want that portrait. Because it opened up Muriel. Oh, for God's sakes. I might have changed my mind about wanting to play this more. Is it in here? Yes. Right. So it's a photo, not a portrait. Alright, and then where is everyone? Not in here. I am. I could have talked to Luke, couldn't I? Alright. Let's try chatting to Pat. And let's just ask everyone about Muriel.
What do you want?
Oh, hang
It's the
on.
photo in the attic, isn't it?
Oh yeah, that's it.
I have never been looking around in the attic.
Bullshit. Right. No use. Right, Bob. Your turn to shine. Oh, I could ask about the wall of silence to everyone as well. Right. My god, this man is useless.
Max, at your service, sir. The portrait of a young girl, it's Muriel.
Okay.
These are the mountains one
Yep,
can
so
see
we
in
learned
front
about
of the
the
manor.
mountains.
Muriel has been Julia's lady-in-waiting.
Okay.
I think everyone liked her. She was very charming, but above all she was Julia's lady-in-waiting.
Let's do this.
What do you want?
So I've already asked him about that stuff, didn't I? Right, so...
Muriel has been Julia's lady-in-waiting. Her and Leo shared a common passion for history and the
Yes.
local area.
We heard that before.
Did we hear it from him or something?
She was
I don't
very
remember who
charming,
we heard it
but
from,
above all
but
she was Julia's
I'm
lady-in-waiting.
fairly certain we heard that line before.
Okay. Let's go with Ida.
What is it about? Someone who lived in the manor a year ago, maybe more.
Right, yeah, so this happened a year ago, or... maybe more. She doesn't know. She doesn't keep track of time.
I think everyone liked her. You know, I didn't know her that well.
Alright.
I don't know.
Doesn't know about silence.
We got a little bit of Cruise for a Corpse style. I think everyone liked her, but I don't know her.
Yeah.
Style stuff right there.
It's the way of these detective things.
Muriel has been Julia's lady-in-waiting. She was a very educated person.
Right,
Abrupt
a year
leaving,
ago.
A year ago, surprised me and caused me great sorrow.
Did it now? Did it? No, it didn't. Oh!
The last days she was talking about a trip. And then. She had a great knowledge in history, and you learned a great deal when you asked her about it.
Okay.
You are too curious.
I was hoping to get away without one of those.
You are too curious. You just are.
We're going for Guy. Come on, Guy. You're fresh.
Also, you were in a relationship with Muriel.
For me, it remains the biggest of all mysteries. She was the only truly interesting woman. I actually think we might have talked to him about this.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, so this is where we got the history. She was more than a friend to my mother, and these months I would love to have her by my side.
Yeah, this actually isn't that subtle now that we...
No, not really. Now that we know.
Yeah.
This is obvious now we know the answer.
Max, at your service, sir. The last
We-
days she was talking about a trip.
I'm just...
And then.
Luke, you're fresh. You're up, Luke.
Go ahead.
Give me the goss.
A little over a year ago, one night, she decided to leave. You know, I didn't know her that well. Her and Leo shared a common passion. Muriel has been Julia's lady. I don't know.
No one knows about the Wall of Silence. How do we learn that bit of information? It's oppressive in here now.
Because we keep asking questions.
Keep asking questions about Muriel. I think I've asked all these people this business. I asked him about the disappearance. I don't think I have.
What do you want?
To get kicked out of here.
A little over a year ago,
Okay,
one night,
no.
she decided to leave.
Okay, so you do, I mean, we're getting some information about her, so this is an avenue that you could pursue. It kind of seems a bit strange, though, because it's like, you don't really need it. I guess you found the little hole, so we knew something needs to go in it. You're then presented with basically a house full of objects where you could try and work out what might go in the little hole. I would posit that if we had uncovered some daggers, we might have tried them. So eventually we would have got that. That door would open. We'd then be given a quiz based on all this stuff, which seems to be the conversation system. But then you don't really need to know, do you? Like, to carry on. Like, the two things are kind of disconnected, which is why I guess they felt the need to throw in that quiz.
Yeah, because you can get through by bumbling your way.
Well, there's a chance that we would never have gotten through because it's so tedious trying to go in and out of that place.
Yes, I think the rooms are in particular awful.
If we got to the point where we were doing what we were doing, which is basically just rifling through trying to find as much as possible so we knew where everything was, we might have got there.
But we still couldn't identify who lived in what room.
No idea.
Which is really problematic because you're not supposed... Like, surely part of that is trying to go, okay, well, if it's got something to do with this person, you check this room.
Yeah, I reckon. But, it's very disjointed in that sense.
I don't know. So I'm pretty sure we're kind of we're done. But,
I think so. I'm not. Unless you desperately want to uncover everything there is left.
Not really.
To be honest, I think I'm happy with what I've seen. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we've still had the sort of general gauge of what the game is like.
Yeah, it's like a... Yeah.
I feel there's more puzzles in the game, but they're not really full-on puzzles. Like, I have a feeling that well has something to do with one of the manuscripts. I think there's something to do down there that you can inevitably work out, or maybe it's just going to be a clue.
It's true. What is all that for?
But that's clearly meant to lead you to some info. Not an object, clearly, because we have all the objects we need, but some information that helps you out.
Yeah, there's a manuscript we still haven't seen.
There's a manuscript we haven't seen and don't know where it is.
And it's possible to complete the game without them.
Yeah, well, it's possible, seemingly, to complete the game without anything. You just need those 3 objects. Oh, well, the 4th one if you include the one you find while you're down there.
Yeah, I mean, I guess...
I argue we only found because we knew it was there.
Yeah, I mean, there's some bits which are a bit of a stretch, in the sense that, yeah, fine, it might have taken you a lot longer because you had literally missed something. The fact that there's an entire house to search through and there's only 3 pertinent items, that's even worse than uninvited. In the sense of, noise to useful in inventory. You've got a gun.
Yeah, you just have one.
We didn't use the gun. What verbs did we even not...
There's loads of verbs we never needed.
Didn't eat anything, I didn't force anything. I did knock, but you didn't need to. We did use leave.
See, I think probe is knock, by the way. I think probe and knock are the same, kind of, in that you...
What's the point?
When it says it sounds... Because when you did probe, it was like it sounds normal.
Yeah, but you think they've switched them round, or...
Or no, or that it's just a duplicate. I don't know.
Knock is hit.
Okay, so that's punch or something.
It'd be a bit dangerous. Raise?
No, never.
Didn't listen, really. I wonder if we could have used that to be a bit more...
No, because we auto-listened when someone is approaching.
I mean, that's how I do it.
Yeah.
It's just...
That is my traditional style of listening as well.
I used open a lot. We used place a few times. Didn't actually... Oh, I suppose... No, we did read. I did read the notes.
We did read.
Didn't scratch. Didn't scratch a thing.
Well, we scratched things by accident.
Yeah. Did search. Slipped by accident. Don't really know what the point of that is. Again, it's not quite working. Like, there's a whole bunch of ideas in this game which sort of sound cool when I think about them, but they just don't work. They don't work individually, and they don't work in concert.
I'm not big on the self menu being a separate thing that has similar words.
Yeah.
But applies to the object in your hand.
Yeah.
That is odd, and I think it would have been better to have some kind of context menu. I know they didn't really... I mean, they've kind of got menus here. I think it should have just said hands rather than self or something, just to make it clear.
Yeah, it's like they developed this before they built the game and before they knew what they needed. Like, let's replicate a certain way of moving or doing things. Or maybe it was built for another game or something. I don't know, but we didn't need all of this. I didn't really use any of this. We did talk to... Hello, Luke. We did talk. Move was fine. I mean, it's cumbersome where it doesn't need to be particularly, I guess. I mean, you've got to remember it's a very old game as well.
Yes. The translation didn't do any favours, I don't think.
Yeah.
I think the fact that it kind of goes... that we had to kind of work out what these... what was really going on the right-hand side here.
Do you ever really feel convinced that you know what's going on?
No, but not with the story. I mean, just like the UI.
Yeah. It wasn't too bad. I think out of all the games we've played so far, the age of this game has hit probably the hardest, like with its choices.
Yeah, it's affected it the most, yeah. There's a lot that wouldn't be done now.
No, it's like there are things which are awkward and unwieldy in the other games we've played, but I think everything in this is a bit awkward and not quite right, and it sort of makes it off-putting.
It's a game that really doesn't require a save system either.
No, I guess not.
It shouldn't have needed. It didn't need saving at any point.
No. I guess it's also... I mean, again, it's part of the period. And probably because they knew how quick it was, that the idea seems to just be to obfuscate and make it difficult to see the wood for the trees. Which is not very satisfying again, because you basically just, the gameplay is hitting your head against a brick wall, and then the barriers they put up in the other parts with a limit to how much the people can stand you to the point where it's a game over, and also are willing to talk to you while the game continues. Those are bad choices. And I think they're designed to make you start again.
Yes, I think so. It's all designed about this idea of continual repetition and trying, and you'll build up your database of knowledge as you go through it. But I found that if you're going to be doing it like that, then make their responses a lot more varied. You know, if it's going to be that kind of game where you're basically going to need a notepad to your side to try and make sure you know and you get everything, I think the idea that 5 of the 8 people in the room don't just say the same response to the same question is probably something that shouldn't have been
Yeah. We might be expecting too much of a thing from the time it was in, but it's the sort of thing that if you were to evaluate it from today's perspective, you'd hope people wouldn't make those sorts of mistakes or wouldn't go that route, and I don't think they would. But
no,
we're playing it now, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
With the history and the lineage and everything else that we've seen after it, so I don't blame it. I just think it's it was a frustrating experience because of the choices it made.
I do wonder, obviously, if it makes more just sort of basic sense in French.
Yeah, I would hope so. I mean, there's not much room, is there? Like, there's only a few lines, you know, a sentence each thing that's mentioned. And again, I think that's
stuff like the parchments. Like, I didn't get any of the parchment. Like, not a single line. I think all of it was deteriorated into nonsense very quickly.
Yeah, I guess there's a very real chance that the original French, if those were sort of clues and riddles, may just
work.
Which
they are suggesting they were.
Yeah, which may just work better.
Apparently, you're supposed to get led to the cellar by a parchment. No clue how.
Well, I mean, the cellar had the signs with the sun, didn't it, and the moons, and then the well did as well. And I don't know if maybe you're led to the well by some, but then there aren't so many.
No, we had no clue there was anything in the well.
There aren't so many locations that you wouldn't end up there anyway. Eventually.
True. I mean, the cellar was just naturally suspect.
Because
it had 3 symbols and a strange hole.
Like, if your puzzle is so complex that it's actually easier to get there by accident anyway, then it's the wrong way round, really. Not that I'm ungrateful, because at least we got to go down there, and then drown by the water that rose up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a strange old game. I'm not really sure how I feel about it. I don't think it's very good. I don't think people should play it now.
No, but also on the same tone, I wouldn't say I hate it.
No. I mean,
I don't think it's awful. I just think it's not good.
Yeah, there are very few games that I hate outside of the moment they're frustrating me. This had some merits, and again, it's like you could see how this could be refined into something that was better. Like
I think the thing is, it's got loads of cool ideas.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just don't pay off, unfortunately.
Yeah, just a little bit more tweaking. I'd be very curious to see what the next game from these people.
Is that
Malpiti Island? How it moves on from this, and whether it's just more of the same, or whether they do refine it a bit and sort of sort stuff out. Because I reckon if you tweak like the characters' movement speeds so they weren't jumping around like absolute maniacs, you know, like incredible. Max is following you from room to room. Everyone's like jumping around like they're the fastest people on Earth. If you slowed that down so people maybe didn't necessarily stick to the schedule exactly, but you know, were a bit slower and you were a bit more aware of where they were likely to be, so you could make some planning for these room invasions. And not cut you off with the conversations, or if you want to do a thing where you're like, well, no, you're a stranger here, you've got to be careful what you ask or how much you ask, put it on a timer or a limit. Make the number of questions that you can ask up front obvious, so you know that's part of the mechanics, maybe.
Yeah, like maybe with their expression or...
Yeah, just say,
something like that.
You know, a little clue that will be like, okay, well, what we'll do is we'll kick you out if you ask too much, but we're going to give you plenty of opportunity to know that that's what's happening.
Yeah, rather than just randomly be kicked out the minute things get...
Yeah, because I'd say if you get to the point where you can't ask anyone any questions and you're still trying to gather information, because that's ostensibly what you think you should be doing, even though it turns out that it's not the case. You don't want to play. You don't want to keep going. The game, that's a game over in its own sense. So just end the game, but do it in a way that makes sure people don't feel like that came out of nowhere, which I can't understand the mechanics of it. You know.
No, it just seems to be any time.
Yeah, like we've been sitting here on Oppressive for ages.
But Oppressive is one before...
Tense. We haven't done enough.
We haven't done enough, and tense, and also it doesn't seem to go down.
No, yeah, that would be good as well if you could lower the level.
Yeah, go in, tell a few jokes.
Yeah.
Don't walk around with a gun out.
Well, that's what you could kind of do, couldn't you? You could introduce that kind of social element. You're visiting, you've got a vague connection to these people, or to some of them. You get introduced, maybe. You start talking about, there's an option to talk about casual stuff, make small talk, attend dinner, you know, make it last a few days. And yeah, you can maybe rule yourself out with maybe one or two people. They get like snooty and go like, I'm not talking to you anymore. You're a rude detective man. But you don't lock everyone out, and you get an opportunity maybe to warm them up again.
Yeah, which I feel like this is suggesting could be a thing based on how it's saying like there's a mood and there's a tone and people don't like you. It feels like it's a half-complete mechanic that either needs adjusting to work as it currently does, but with severe adjustments, or is missing half of the mechanic where you're supposed to be able to like bring it back down or have some other element, because it's just a little bit.
Like, describing that version of the game made me feel like that might be the greatest game of all time. Characters moving around, talking to them and having sort of interactions with them, and that they sort of have a personality attached to that. That's great. Yeah, it's just the sort of draconian...
And you're playing a sort of clever... sort of detective that's trying to slowly coax out information from people over time.
Well, the idea where it makes note of the fact that you're not an authority figure is actually a very interesting one. Like in a detective scenario, it's weird when they place people in those positions, because the normal answer is, why are you getting involved in this, George Stobart? You're just a tourist. And that might evoke similar feelings. But the actual setup for this isn't that bad. The payoff is terrible. Yeah. But it's, a friend invites you to a place that you know, people you don't know. You've kind of got a relationship with this thing.
And all you know is something dodgy is going on.
Yeah, you know something dodgy is going on, and you know that you owe or feel obliged to try and do this as resolution for a person you care about who has died suddenly.
Also, you're not there, but you're not there because you've been called as a detective.
Yeah.
Like, you're not there to do a job, you're there because someone privately has asked you to do something where no one else is involved.
Yeah, so you have to be careful, and you have to think about that, and the game then needs to provide you with the framework to allow that to happen, not this framework. I may be talking myself into thinking this might be the best game we've ever played.
What, in the potential? The actual potential of it? Yeah. Well, yeah, no, because the potential of it is good. Like, I've always, like, from the beginning I thought the potential was good. I was intrigued by the concept the entire time. It's just unfortunate that the mechanics don't gel with it.
Just gives you an opportunity to potentially be a bit more freeform in a genre which is typically very linear, and I love for its linearity in its story, but Oh, you could have done something with this, Lankhor. Maybe it was beyond the realms of possibility for the time. Maybe you would have needed to be time travelers, but you should have done it.
This had the potential to be a real, a real landmark game.
We're pushing this so hard now. This should have been winning BAFTAs. That's what I'm saying. They should have changed the Oscars to a game ceremony and given this an Oscar if it had fulfilled the potential I believe that it had.
Could have.
Yeah. What a weirdly positive note to end on something that was absolutely awful to play.
Yeah.
This is a wild ride sometimes. Okay. We can't end on a better note than that.
No, I think that's it.
No. Well done, Mortville Manor. Well done. Good work, my friend.
This feels a bit taking the piss now.
I'm not. I'm deadly serious. I'm going to make this game.